We're about to take a huge leap, and we need your help.
Yeah, how do you want me, like this?
Where do I look? At you or just straight?
It feels nice being back here doing this with you, Steffi. It feels very nostalgic almost, doesn't it?
I'm looking at that. Yeah.
You ready? Do I need to do a clap?
Novara 1.0, it was this tiny, tiny office, and it looked like a shipping container. In the summer, it'd be like 40 degrees inside. And poor Michael Walker having to present what was then called The Fix, just sweating through all his clothes. And then, because of your help and your support, we managed to get it together enough to move to our current workspace.
When I started here, the setup was one camera plugged into what was essentially a gaming PC. There were many, many on-stream crashes. That train is very loud. We've really just got these windows as a barrier. That means when we're shooting, they have to stay closed. What happens in summer? We don't have aircon. Why don't we have aircon? Because of the sound.
It's been a real catalyst for growth. We've been able to offer new products like Downstream and do your own research and If I Speak, but fundamentally we've outgrown it.
Yeah, so this is where everything's controlled from. I think where this diverges from like a professional operation is the whole thing's designed to be operated by one person.
So, Alex, are you doing all of this when the show's live?
Yeah.
Okay, so what you can see behind me is Navara 3.0. We're doing like a total custom kit out.
How do you do this in front of other people? Before I moved to the new studio, I've been project managing it. I've been coming to the studio quite often, taping up the spaces to see how it actually physically works. I want to see if I can do it by memory. I feel like I know the space like the back of my hand now. So we're breaking the space up into multiple different rooms. We'll have 2 studios, so one for Downstream and our different podcasts.
When I'm talking about a nicer studio, I'm not just like, oh, make it nicer because we deserve a nicer space. I'm looking at that in terms of, okay, with this much more room, we can do maybe 3 times as much, 4 times as much as we're currently doing. We can make it 20%, 40%, 50% better.
The wealthy, the powerful, the influential have long understood that by owning media, you get to have an inordinate impact on political outcomes. And that's precisely why we are going to be levelling up in the next few years ahead of a really important general election.
Why don't I like the mainstream media again, Ash?
I've got a lot to say for this.
I actually don't know what my official, what am I? A contributor? It is very clear that the centre ground, both in Britain and more globally, is dissolving. It is giving way, and something has to come into that vacuum. And over the past 10 to 15 years, our mainstream media has been priming the public to believe that the only way that the chips can fall is towards the far right.
The media and how it works in this country is guided by a certain set of interests which suit a certain group of people.
Billionaires are seeing an opportunity. They can come in, they can purchase a legacy outlet, or they can start their own. In this country, you've got Paul Marshall, a billionaire who has sunk millions and millions into GB News, which has had an immediate, radical effect in shifting the politics of this country. That's not just by putting pressure on politicians and the other outlets, but by generating a whole new generation of politicians. If you look at the Reform front bench after the next general election, if they heaven forbid win, you're going to see a lot of people who developed their communicative skills on a channel which was set up just a few years ago by a billionaire. That is a very, very impactful decision that one man made. And if we don't want to hand over control of British politics, British media to billionaires, that means we need a different model.
You'll have seen all our reporting on the Palestine Action protests. At the beginning of those protests, nobody knew how to report it. Nobody knew whether it was safe to report it. We took a chance. We published photographs of people holding signs when other outlets wouldn't. We said what was on the signs when other outlets wouldn't. And we gave a view of what we thought about the prescription from the day it happened. One of the reasons that my reporting on Palestine Action was possible is because Novara Media gave me the time and the space and the resources to build the relationships that were needed, to go to those protests, to follow up with people. That is extremely rare. And imagine what we could achieve if there were 5 people or 10 people, or 20 people, or even 50 people who had the same kind of resources, the same sort of editorial independence to pursue those stories that really say something about our country or about the world and that really matter to our audience.
The stories that I think that the mainstream media won't touch are broadly stories that speak the truth to power and that pull things out in terms of our government and what it's complicit in, that the lobby journalists who have access to Westminster and have access to politicians, they just won't touch, because otherwise that level of access gets withdrawn.
There is a big structural problem, which is that the news desk, which should be about the entire country and all the sorts of social issues that's facing us as a nation, is being led by the politics desk. And the politics desk is being led by the Westminster lobby. So this is an elite group of journalists who all have parliamentary access. And they get that access because they report on an anonymous basis. So you end up with a strange alignment of interest. We need access, so in a way, we'll protect your reputation.
What we have here at Novara Media is independence, not just from big business, but from the political class, which means you're going to get proper criticism, actual scrutiny of politicians, because we're not desperate for access like the mainstream media are. We're not part of the same groups of people who've gone to the same schools, who've learned all the same groupthink.
Politics and media very much mirror each other. They're interconnected, it's all interwoven towards the same thing. And when the two-party system blows up, new media has to come in and take its place.
Navara was about kind of both increasing the space and the credibility of left-wing perspectives of all kinds, just about creating more space for the left.
As someone who started out an independent content creator in this space, in the online social media space, working with somebody like Novara Media is always where I thought I would want to end up. And with a space like this, it's going to give us even more room to be able to find other people like me who are working hard independently, who need a big break to be able to expand the reach, to be able to build a big ecosystem of left-wing creators.
I mean, in terms of like tangible stuff for the audience, you know, the new studio is going to bring better production quality, better sound quality, more stability, because the production team can actually kind of work without all of these constraints. Other than that, though, we are actually expanding the format of the show. So we're looking to do sort of big panel discussions. There's talk of maybe a phone-in show at some point. Everything's basically sort of doubling in size.
I would like to make a promise to absolutely everyone who's watching this, is that you are going to see an increase in quality that's going to make you feel like we were a sensible home for your donation. The thing that we want to say to our audience is that, one, so grateful. We're here literally because of you. And also to the much larger group of people that constitute our viewership. I mean, we're talking millions of people here. I don't think they understand that such a small fraction of people are actually enabling us to do it. And so you might be someone who watches Novara live every single night. You might be someone who listens to If I Speak every week. And it won't occur to you that we're doing all of this on such a tight budget. So if there's something that you like that we do, and you've got £1 extra a month, just one, we'd love to have it.
With a little bit more income, by doing what we do best, which is appealing to a broad section of people who are willing to put forward £1, £2, £10 a month, we can really take this thing to the next level.
It's much more difficult for us because we don't have the billionaire and millionaire backing, but we do have people. And now is the time where we need to grow and consolidate that with an eye to not just elections that are happening in the next year or so, but elections that are going to define the future of Britain, over the next 5-10 years.
The next decade will be shaped by whoever wins the media war.
That's why we need to get bigger.
Much bigger.
We're reaching an audience of millions.
20 million views on YouTube every month.
2.5 million followers on social media. And we've got 1.2 million subscribers on YouTube.
I'm going to level with you. Just a tiny fraction of that number are paying supporters.
We've achieved so much on a shoestring.
But imagine what we could do if we had twice as many people funding our journalism.
We've got to get bigger and better.
And we need 2,000 people to help us make our most ambitious leap yet.
Much bigger outlets have folded.
But thanks to our regular supporters, we're going from strength to strength.
Small, regular donations are what makes us resilient.
It means our journalism is free for all to access without payments. and it keeps us editorially independent.
Build new media for a different politics. Help grow our supporter base by 2,000 people.
Set up a direct debit or use your card to donate from just £1 per month today.
We can't do this without you.
Like, the media landscape is changing. And I think the left should have a stake in whatever's coming next.